I'm going to go to court and I'm going to tell the judge, listen, my fiance has nothing to do with it. It's all my fault. We were both drinking and got out of hand. Isolated situation has never happened before. I love my fiance. She's a good woman. Never been in trouble in her life. She has a 7-year-old son that she loves and cherishes.
A blind Boston Terrier.
She has 2 dogs. One is blind, one is deaf. She goes around and she's driving and sees an animal that's injured. She'll stop in the middle of the street, no matter what kind of traffic it is, just to make sure that that animal doesn't get injured any more than where it already has. We both love each other. We both live together. Yes, every relationship has their arguments, but we are not the type of people that you guys have to train us.
Can you guys hear me? Okay, can you hear?
Especially her. So please, if you can,
Dismiss
this case.
Close.
Drop it. She is not the type of person.
Good person.
Great person.
Angel.
I know she'd be an angel. She's close to it.
Best thing that has ever happened to you.
Yes, ma'am. I love you for that. And I hate that we're
Awesome. Thank you, Kismet.
On it.
What?
And it did.
They're recapping this. I've got it on 1.5.
All right, another live look inside the courtroom. You can see the legal teams kind of milling about here. It looks like Judge Kranek looking through some notes, some paperwork there up on the bench. This is day 6 of the Sarah Boone suitcase murder trial, and likely the day that closing arguments will be given. That will be.
I can't believe it's going to be closing arguments already. Hey, Annie Oakley.
Videos for you. This was one
We're
of them.
Recapping from yesterday,
but also insightful into the relationship and the interactions between Sarah Boone and George Torres.
Let me just stop this really fast. We're recapping. I had to go back just because I was listening to some of the texts. I just dropped off Sugar Bear and I was getting emotional. So I was like, maybe someone else will watch this with me, but I'm going back. I can't believe she said for him to tell the state that my eyes are puffy. You could tell I've been crying. It's a good cry though. It's cathartic. But yeah, let's get back to this.
Remember this. So you remember this. Are you drunk right now? How much alcohol did you drink? You're slurring your words. You're sleeping up against the door right now.
Yeah, because I want to be next to you.
Did I not tell you to not bother me?
Yes, ma'am.
So what is it you come up and do? What time is it right now? It's 1:20 a.m.
I haven't bothered you since then. I just want to speak.
But didn't I tell you before at 9:30 to not bother me at all?
Yes.
Because why?
Yeah, so tomorrow.
No. Because I've been up since 4 a.m. since yesterday when you with me.
Yes, ma'am.
I know how much vodka was in that bottle. And what's the bottle now?
Kind of to throw it out.
What does that mean?
One more drink.
The bottle's empty. I know how much vodka was in there. And then for 2 people to have a really good time. And who drank it? I want it to be documented that I'm leaving you, which means that you're getting out. You're getting out.
I agree, Michael. I had that feeling. I know I took a lot of heat for it, but I have to trust my gut. And it is, she just thought she was better than him. And clearly here, she's talking to him like he's a child. I mean, and he's used to it. He's saying, yes, ma'am. It breaks my heart.
You're getting out.
Nobody's even nobody. Stop.
And the reason why you were even downstairs and weak enough to get drunk was because you don't give a shit about me. You don't listen to what I say. Special things that I keep on my front page of my phone, so I remember to tell you about it. This is how special and fun it is. I always bother you.
That part was especially chilling when she said she writes it on the front of her phone or keeps it on the front of her phone so she can remind him. She is so vengeful. And the fact that she's taking notes, I'm ashamed to say, but whatever, it's in my past. I was drinking. I will just say I was an alcoholic. I guess you always are. And the person that I was dating, we would write notes to each other so we would remember it the next day, or just jot notes down. But he also would hold it. Oh, remember you said this and you were wrong and you were wrong. But I feel like whatever that honeymoon phase was, what is it called when they like get the love bombing was, he believes he's in love with her. I think the alcohol is coloring that. And then also he's trying to get back to that phase, right? He's trying to be good enough, not knowing that because of the way her mind works, she'll never view him as an equal.
I always bore you. You don't listen to me. Yesterday was my first day at work, remember? And I ended up 90% hearing about your day and 10% about mine.
You don't bother me or anything. Sometimes you just.
I did not see it. I have to find it.
That's the problem. You overwhelm me.
I tell you about my first day at work.
No, dude, you just overwhelm me about every other thing. Smooth. Just first day at work.
We want to go ahead and get you inside the courtroom here. Sarah Boone was just brought in, and things are getting started, so we will go ahead and listen in this morning.
County Henderson for Sarah Boone.
Ms. Boone, raise your right hand to be sworn, please. Please swear or affirm that the testimony you give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Yeah, good morning. Can you please state your full name and date of birth for the record for me?
Sarah Boone, 10-10-77.
Ms. Boone is seated at counsel's table wearing a light gray suit and a white blouse. She is in custody, however, will not be wearing any restraints. As such, we will continue to stand when our jury enters and exits. We're here for a charging conference. The court has reviewed, I believe, both parties' red lines as to the jury instructions, including, I believe that was submitted last night, the defense's red line as to the jury instructions that were provided by the court. Let's try to get as much done as we can until our jury arrives. I believe what we had discussed yesterday was starting at the beginning and moving through as quickly as possible until we get to the real meat of some of the issues in the 3.6F and the 3.6G instructions. Mr. J?
May I remain seated during the charge conference?
Yes, sir, you may. Thank you. All right. I have in my hand a 34-page document that was emailed to the court last night by counsel for the defense at 12:06 a.m. from Lauren Henderson. That's what the court's going to be relying on. Does everyone have that in front of them?
Yes, sir.
Defense.
I found the thing on his daughters. I'll pull that up. I just want to.
Yes, Judge, I did.
Okay. All right. Let's start on page 1 of 34, 3.1, introduction, final instructions.
I'm
Any
so glad they
objection to
showed
the
their
form of this
face.
instruction state?
Now I'm confused. I don't know that I have a 34-page document from them last night. There was an attachment. There was an email at 12:06.
Hang on. Let me make sure.
36F, separate red lines, 36G, separate red lines, 8.9, coupled negatives, red lines, separates.
Give me a moment. Then it was what was sent at 11:31 yesterday.
That 34-page document I have.
Okay.
No, 31. I don't know if it's 34. It says 31 to me.
I have it as 34. Okay.
Defense. Now, George Torres's family is speaking out this morning, saying that he's being unfairly depicted as an abuser and that it was Sarah Boone who was the real aggressor. Now, since early in this case, we've seen evidence of Boone's problems with Torres's family.
To know what we're here, what we're investigating, and that they're going to think I killed him.
Why would they think that?
They always have said that. They've always have said that.
What have they
I told you it's because I'm the blue-eyed white dragon. That's what they call me. Because they don't want him with me. So he's basically just not really been around his family because he chooses me over them.
Want to welcome in our special guests now. We have George Torres's oldest daughter, Ana Victoria Torres, with us. We also have Dolores Ortiz with us, who is George Torres's first wife, and she also brought with her this morning her youngest daughter, Destiny. First of all, my heart goes out to all of you, and for all of us here at Court TV, we are so sorry for your loss. Thank you for coming on the show, and I know that you really want to clear the air. And Ana Victoria, I know you've wanted to kind of be the family spokesperson, so I want to start with you, please. The way that your dad has been depicted as being an abuser in this trial, I know that it has upset you and you felt it's very unfair. Tell us why.
Story, and unfortunately we are the voices now, and the way the trial has gone and the way things have taken place have nobody has ever contacted us to hear our story or ask us questions in regards to our father, his character, or the relationship between him and Sarah Boone. Me and my siblings actually spoke to our father that night, and we have a lot of experiences with Miss Boone that do not speak to what the media is stating she is, a victim or a gentle individual. I'm sure she's loved over there at jail due to the fact that Sarah Boone is very, very calculated. She by no means is a kind and sweet, soft-spoken woman. She is very calculated, very devious, very conniving. My father was sheltered and berated. He was kept from us. He was the real victim in this situation. Unfortunately, again, as stated, he is not here to tell his story, but we are here to give his side the best we can from the view that we were able to see things.
Sure. Ana Victoria, in one of the videos that we've all seen, Sarah Boone told police that George's family didn't like her and that they referred to her as the blue-eyed white dragon. Would you talk about where that nickname came from, and if it's true that you all didn't like her, and in particular, why?
I can definitely answer that. As far as the nickname is concerned, that was created all through Sarah's little brain. Other than that, she was definitely correct as far as us not liking her, and she should have stated that she didn't like us either, because that is very much correct as well. She, like I stated, is very evil, and
really fast. So one of you guys, I don't remember who it was now, and I'm probably going to butcher it, but Brian Boone has some kind of ringtone that has something to do with a Japanese game. And in that game, you guys said there was a blue-eyed dragon over there. And so that may be where Sarah pulled that from. Also, just for those of you guys who don't know, George has 3 children. He has 2 daughters. So this is the oldest, Ana Victoria. If you saw my video with the call logs, you'll remember she talked to him the day of his death, the day of his murder. And then he has the middle daughter, Cookie, Cookie is her nickname, Destiny is her name, and then he has the son, and I said middle daughter, I actually don't know who is first, but he has the son, Jorge, who he's also a junior, which I think is technically a third, but I'm getting distracted. Who has developmental disabilities. And so that the picture that they showed was them at Universal Orlando. I have those pictures from his Facebook, but I didn't want to put his kids' faces out there. But now that they're showing them, I'm just going to point out who they are. And I'm glad that they have all come forward and band together to talk about little Miss Sarah Catherine.
What she is acting out there on the stand and within that courtroom is baffling to me, because that is not the real Sarah Boone at all. But yeah, she was correct. We don't like her. We didn't like her. That will never change. Unfortunately, I do feel bad for her and I wish her the best. But what I do wish is that my father receives his justice and she gets the time that she deserves. And a slap on the wrist is not it. Other than that, as far as a relationship with Sarah, one that was a good one, there wasn't one. We tried, we definitely tried, but she did not.
Anna Victoria, thank you for sharing all of that. I want to go to your mom now. Dolores, you were married to George for 14 years. I have three beautiful children with him. Two of them are here with us today, Destiny and Anna Victoria. We understand that at one point, Sarah Boone tried to fight you. Tell us about that.
Not per se fight me because I want to say that we've had one engagement, which was for my children's birthday party that they attended later in the evening. So I really have never had like a confrontation. It was verbal over the phone. She had threatened me a couple times to come over and that she would dust her doormat for myself and my daughters. But it was basically verbal threats that she would give every time that George would call his children, any chance that he had, that he was able to call his children to speak, and I was present. It was a problem for George. She was very much jealous of me for what reason I'm not aware of, but we never had physical, altercations.
Well, and that's a very good thing. Tell us, Dolores, during your marriage to George, was he ever violent with you or any of your kids?
He was never violent with my children. We would have normal husband and wife family spats here and there, but never to the point where police were ever involved, DHS was ever involved. We were never that type of family. I can't relate to Sarah and the abuse that she so-called claims that she's received from George because I never received abuse like that. I want to say the only thing that I can say about George is that he was a ladies' man.
Gotcha. Okay. And so just to be very clear here, did anything physical ever take place in terms of physical violence that he inflicted on you?
No.
Okay. And thank you for that. I know these are very personal questions, but we really want to get everything out here and get your side of all this as everyone in the courtroom isn't hearing it. Destiny, we're so happy to have you here. You were a surprise this morning. We knew Anna Victoria was coming on and your mom, and we're so glad to see you too. What would you like to say about your dad, the kind of person that he was? What would you like the world to know about him?
My dad was an amazing person. He was my best friend. Nobody's perfect, but my dad was very loving. Everybody loved him back. He didn't deserve what happened to him. I don't think anybody deserves to die like that. I was 15 when it happened. I ended up being very depressed and going through suicidal thoughts and things of that nature. Yeah.
Dear Triathlon, let's splash.
On the TV website, we'll go back to this other one. Oh my God. Oh my God, that was powerful.
Evidence of culpable negligence as to the case in the fact that Ms. Boone, while Mr. Torres is still in the suitcase, goes upstairs. As to it being charged, it's a category 2 lesser included that's available to the defense. Defense can get category 2 lesser included offenses as long as there's evidence to support.
I'm gonna mute that for a second. If you guys I want to make sure everybody is mentally okay. If it's too much for you, please take care of yourself and we'll catch you on the next time. I knew it was going to be a lot for me, so I didn't want to go through it alone. But so I appreciate those of you who are here and who are able to stay and we can support each other. Just me, I'm so sorry. Whatever was going on with your brother, but I'm glad that he made it out to the other side and is okay. I just think we all have to be mindful of the men in our lives, toxic relationships in general. I cannot stress enough like how great therapy has been for me. I was in a lot of toxic relationships. I won't make it about me, but I had this thing called limerence. So I would like attach on people, whether it was healthy or not. And then there was trauma bonding. And so sometimes it's hard, like you want to let them be independent. And I just hope and pray that they don't feel regret. His daughters, right? He was an adult making his own decisions that couldn't have changed that. It breaks my heart when she said, "Oh, I was just 15 when it happened." Like, I don't know if she's going to have a quinceañera, if she gets her quinceañera, or if she's going to do sweet 16, but all those milestones she's going to miss. My brother was murdered and his children were little when it happened. And so it's just, we're all rally together to help the kids out, but I can never be their father, right? And so, like, it just gets complicated. Those children, even though they're adults, 2 of them are now, they're never going to have their dad, and they're not going to be able to call, get relationship advice, be walked down the aisle, or whatever milestones you think of. Let's hear what Kranik is saying. Hang on.
Procure definition will not be provided. Any other questions regarding 7.7 instruction?
No, Your Honor.
I'm going to go back because it sounds like he just swatted somebody.
Now objecting to paragraph 2C, the death of George Torres was caused by the culpable negligence of Sarah Boone. So how can you ask for a culpable negligence instruction and then object to 2C in the manslaughter instruction? Logically having trouble understanding that.
And this is my argument, because I'm not arguing that there isn't evidence of it, because I just said there's evidence of it. The difference is, and I think the burden is different from the state, because it's not alleged in their information.
Does not the instruction say give 2A, 2B, and or 2C depending upon allegations and proof?
Yes, the allegations will be the information.
Okay. Any response, Mr. J?
Judge, it's category 1, lesser. All the theories are included in that. The language does not need to be included in the charging instrument. And quite frankly, it's not inconsistent with the language in the charging instrument. She's accused of having a depraved mind when killing him. And what the evidence has also shown is that she was heavily intoxicated when she made this decision.
Okay, hopefully this is better. My other microphone was echoing, so I'm using my phone. So they're going on about thank you, Annie Oakley. Okay, let's go back to the other one.
At this point in time, the court is going
the letter included. I will go back to we're at a commercial from this one.
Allegedly happened between him and Sarah Boone. He sure didn't deserve to die. He was only 42 years old, and as you could see, had a beautiful family. You just saw 2 of his 3 kids, and he was deeply loved.
Okay, indeed, he was. Maui Swift, hopefully that is better. I went to school in Maui. Okay. Yeah, so it is, they're going over the lesser included in the courtroom right now, but I'm going to switch back, but before we play it, please take care of yourself and make sure you're doing okay mentally. This is a lot going on. I'm sure and they're in the courtroom too. I did see that. So it looks like his mom is there. Both the daughters are there. His brother is there. I'm not sure if that's the ex-wife or not. I don't have any information about the second wife, but I'm guessing this one that we just saw is the second one because they had the 3 children together. And then there was someone else prior to her, I'm guessing. I know Sarah mentioned that he was married 2 times. Like, again, something to hold over him because she was only married once. Also, I feel like her timeline is off. When you watch George's videos, it seems like they only got together at the end of 2017, which means they weren't together 3.5 years because she murdered him in February of 2020. So if they got together at the end of 17, then that means at the end of 2019, October, that was just 2 years. And then whatever the months are from October to his death on February 23rd. And he had just had his birthday on the 13th of February. So, like, about 10 days before his death. It's a lot, I know. True Kismet. And you can tell he loved his kids when you look at the pictures of them together and just hearing how they speak fondly of him. I'm gonna skip forward. I want to get into the. Oh my God. Just say, ooh, what happened in the courtyard yesterday? Do you guys know? He said he doesn't want to apply it as a domestic violence. Oh my God, I wasn't even sharing the audio. Sorry, guys. Let me go back. Good Lord. He's asking about the text messages. Owens was
Moving
in the
to
reading.
3.11, cautionary instruction. Defense?
No objection.
The court then interlineated on page 30 the 2.7 closing argument form instruction. Any objection to that instruction, state? Defense?
No, Your Honor.
Moving now to 3.12 verdict instruction, page 31 of 34, state?
Okay.
Defense?
Is she a bottom? Oh my God.
No objection.
Moving now to 32 of 34, instruction 3.13, submitting case to jury. The only other question I have for the parties is with regard to, I believe it was Exhibit A, the suitcase. Are we going to send that back, or is that going to be viewable upon writing similar to the baseball bat?
No reason that can't be sent back.
Okay, agreed? Okay, all right. Is this instruction acceptable to the state?
Yes, Your Honor.
No reason the suitcase can't be sent back?
Defense?
Is that what he said?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, let
Very
them
good.
go through that. I'm
And then
gonna
moving to, that concludes
them.
the,
I'll leave it up so we can see, but I'm just gonna mute whatever they're going on. They're doing the lesser included. So I think a lot of us had that question, like, can they find her guilty of manslaughter or whatever else? So yes, they're gonna put that in there. It doesn't sound like they're going up to first. My eyes are so swollen. Oh my God. I wanted to touch on this, Zoe. In case we're talking about this, it's seemingly random moments when you're flooded with emotions that really put everything in perspective as to how complex grief really is. And that is so true. When my niece graduated, I flew out to Oakland for her graduation. And I was on the way there to the actual graduation. Like, once I was in California, not the whole plane ride, but I was just bawling because I'm like, he's not going to get to see his baby girl graduate. She's not going to get that hug and congratulations from her dad. It's those. And then she had a baby last year. His actually his first grandchild, because his son has a child too. But just all of those things of like, you want your dad at the hospital, or is he gonna, I don't know, teach them something? Even with my own son, like, I see a lot of my brother, even though obviously they've never met, like him with the cars, different in a way, and as a little person than my daughter was, and my brother loved train. So it's different things that come in there. But we all know people are going to die, but there's something about feeling robbed when someone is murdered, right? It's murder is always senseless, and hopefully we can avoid it as we are as we move through the world and actions we take and understand consequences and self-awareness. But it's like you feel robbed, right? And then for his family to be in court, I don't know if they were there yesterday. I know they're there this morning to see this video. Like, who could have imagined the depravity? Like, I knew something was wrong with Sarah, but the depth of it, of the wrongness, I had no idea. And now I do feel like she just told him to get in the suitcase. There was no game. Just like she's telling him to do this and do that, and he's very compliant. I have jokingly said it early on, like she would have been better off saying it was like a BDSM thing, but that was closer to the truth than I even thought, because surely she's the dominatrix in that situation, right? It's not like, I don't know. It's just heartbreaking to just replace Charlie Brown's teacher. Wah, wah, wah. Oh, smell you get to, yes. Motion for Zach Craig to narrate audiobooks. I know, Becca, you didn't add the Zaddy. You recognized it right away. Just me about Sarah. Oh, I just have never, I've known some depraved people, but she takes it to a new low, her level of depravity, incredibly abusive. And I say, I think that helped me sleep last night. George is free. I don't know that he would have actually ever freed himself, although I suspect he was leaving her as part of this, but I don't know that he would have ever freed himself. And so I do find solace. Obviously, I don't think he deserved to die the way he died, but he's rid of her at last. And yeah. Okay, let's hear what this guy's saying.
So again, day 6, and this is the day that we will expect to see and hear closing arguments in this case, the suitcase murder trial. What happened over the last little bit, about 20 minutes or so, of going through some of the jury instructions. For the most part, there was not any sort of disagreement or that kind of thing. The additional language.
You get on your bike and go to work tomorrow. Don't look at me. Don't come close to me. Don't touch me. Do you understand?
What do you mean?
As of this moment, and until I can get you out, get the out of here. Okay. I get it. Yeah, look at it. Wait, get away from me. Get away from me. Get away from me. I'm gonna scream bloody murder. I'm gonna scream bloody murder. I will scream bloody
I'm
murder.
gonna scream bloody murder.
I'm gonna hurt you.
Nobody's doing anything. And you're filming it.
Let me go.
Nobody's doing
I'm
anything.
asking you, George, to get away from me. Please get away from me. Get away from me.
Yeah, I am. That was your function, dude.
You.
Malfunction. No, your malfunction is you, dude.
Okay, whatever you say. Whatever you say. Holy shit, the whole hallway just reeks of you up here. First it's shit, now it's alcohol.
And what did that mean? Like, is she talking about like literal poop?
I can't even breathe. Like, it's disgusting. Like, it's disgusting.
And she doesn't sound completely sober there.
Then I said, love you.
I don't love you. I don't like you.
I don't like
love
you. So even the night of the suitcase, the horrible thing she was saying, that was normal for her.
So that
That's
was
how they
that
talk
cell
to
phone
each other.
video. Let me see there. That was the cell phone video. One of the cell phone videos, one of 8, I believe. I'd have to go back and count, but I believe it was 8 different cell phone videos that we saw that were recorded on Sarah Boone's cell phone.
Just bananas to me. Just like crazy. For everything you've done to me was like not even the tip of the iceberg of the crazy things that she said to him. So Kathy, we're going to watch the text. I'm going to try to skip ahead. I'm keeping an eye on everything so we don't miss anything, but I was trying to catch up. So the isolation is all, I'm sure those of us who have been through it or who watched enough of TV, that is typical for your abuser to keep you away from people. We heard from the daughters that she, and even the wife, the ex-wife, like she would get jealous and didn't want them to talk. She needed to be present for the conversations, right? She would do things like take the bike back that she gave him. If it's his, you can't take it back. Like you do that to a child. If you give a 16-year-old a car and they don't act right, then you take their car back, right? Because you're still paying for it. and maybe, I mean, that was in my house. Y'all tell me that might be trauma and abuse too. But my mom definitely, if I broke curfew or anything else, took my car away from me. So nothing was his, right? It had to be theirs together or hers alone, but nothing was his own. From his transportation, his birth certificate, his driver's license. That one is hard for me because I know he was in the throes of addiction and she was just batshit crazy. I would have let her have it. I would have went and got a new ID. I would have went and got a new birth certificate. What is it? $12? Might be $20 now. I haven't ordered mine, but you can do that online. Like Sarah would have seen the back of my head and nothing else ever again. But okay, here, let's see what they got going on here.
Where are my car keys? Where are my car keys?
Where are
Where are my car keys?
Where you at? All the time. What in the world are you talking about? They're in the. They're there with it.
They're not.
Sarah. They're at the.
No, they're not. You took them. I want you to walk away with them.
Why would I take your freaking car keys?
So you're not gonna curse now?
What are you talking about?
She didn't have the tools to help him get sober. She couldn't get herself sober. You know what I mean?
Another live look inside courtroom 12A here. It is 9:35 in the morning on this Friday. We are still waiting on the jury to come back in. These text messages that we expect Will J to be reading here shortly are, as we understand it, kind of the last piece of their rebuttal case. And so when that is finished, they will arrest that. We have not heard any other indication. I know yesterday afternoon, James Owens said that he did not intend to give a SIR rebuttal. He said he would inform the court of that for sure in the morning after he thought of it. I did not hear any update on that this morning. So my understanding, or at least my expectation at this point, is that he will not do that, but we will wait and see. So then at that point, any other finalizing of the jury instructions that needs to be done will be.
Hey, that's a good point. ID is 60, new birth certificate and social security card are both 25. I feel like if he had communicated with his family, they would have rallied and gotten that money together instead of going back over this, right? But it was a trap. We probably have all been in those relationships. Like you wake up and you're like, oh, I left something over there and I have to go get it. And then the next thing you know, somebody's feet are in the air. So that's how I knew I was done with my last ex. It was like I left a bunch of stuff and I didn't care. I will replace it all. Do you know? That's when you know you're done. Yes, she tried to control him because she couldn't control herself. Let's hear what's that is going on here.
James Owens.
Tony Henderson for Sarah Boone.
Coming back on the record.
Ms. Boone is still seated at counsel's table. Are we ready to go ahead and bring in our jury at this time? State.
Yes, sir.
Defense.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's stand and bring in our jury.
Oh, that's a good point, hey. Mask of the Martyr. I like that. Same, Pop Fly High. Same. He really did. Rob Jr. 83. He really did. And I think it was her intent to emasculate him. I think that's why she liked recording it, like how killers like to sometimes take souvenirs. These were her souvenirs of abuse, in my layperson opinion. Well, you guys know that. It's called My 2 Cents. So.
State, you recognize our jury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, do you recognize our jury?
Yes.
All right, members of the jury, you can be seated. Members of the jury, good morning. Welcome back to 12 Alpha of the Orange County Courthouse. Just again, if you could raise those hands, confirm you complied with the court's instructions. All right, all hands have been raised. Thank you very much. Members of the jury, before the state continues with their evidence presentation today, I just have a couple of questions to go over with you. Yesterday, there was an event in the courtyard of the Orange County Courthouse. Did anyone happen to observe that event? If you did, please raise your hands at this time.
What do you mean by observe?
We'll get to it. Okay. Did anyone happen to hear anything during that event? All right, record reflects no hands have been raised. Did anyone see anything during that event? All right, juror number 2, first row. Thank you, ma'am.
Definitely.
Did anyone participate in that event? Reflect no hands have been raised. Did anyone receive any writings or review any material from that event? Reflect no one has raised their hands. Can the parties approach for a moment?
The other thing too, with the infantilization, I feel like she wasn't feeding him. And I know you guys are probably like, he was a grown man, he could choose that, but she had control over everything. And she reminded him of that, right? Especially at the end because he didn't have a job.
All right.
I would think he
members of the
would
jury,
get
I'm gonna send everyone
unemployment.
out except for juror number 2, the first row. We've got a couple follow-up questions for you individually, ma'am. Same instruction I've given you all previously. Please don't conduct any independent investigation or research as the person, places, things, or charge it involved, and don't have any discussions amongst yourselves or anyone else, and we'll bring you back in as promptly as possible. Thank you.
Be safe out there, Annie Oakley. No racing around. Drive safely. We want you in one piece. So it sounds like they're letting them all out. They're going to question the one jury who saw or heard something. But anyway, I do feel like she was keeping food from him, and the
Jury
brother
seat 2 in
Juan
the first
said
row from right to
he
left.
would.
You had advised, based on the court's question, that you had observed something. You said, what does observed means? And instead of getting that out in front of every other juror, we just want to have that individual conversation with you now. So tell me what it is that you saw or heard or anything yesterday in the courtyard yesterday.
When we were walking back from lunch, and we saw that they were gathered, and I asked the deputy if he knew what was going on, and he said it was somebody being talking about domestic violence.
Okay. And you said we were walking. Who's we?
Another juror. I don't want to say her name.
Okay. All right. Is that a juror that was on our panel here?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Do you recall where they may have been seated?
No, in the back over there.
Okay. Do you recall?
Okay. Is she dry snitching on the other juror who didn't raise their hand? I don't know what happened, but I'm sure one of the outlets will let us know. Unemployment only lasts a few months, but I am being told, T-Man, that he was only unemployed for a few weeks at the time of his murder. So the A's had gone out of business, and obviously they didn't need him as a manager because there was not going to be. Oh my God. Sorry, Godmother, Sorry, Godmother. It was so much gaslighting, so much. I don't know what's worse, her commanding him in was great or her fitting him in. Oh my God. This is very true. He's is like not getting the alternate juror he hopes for. I don't know. I don't know who he hopes for. I don't know who. I know some people they can tell in the courtroom who is alternate and not alternate, like the Charlie Adelson case, but I don't know. Okay, I think jury's coming back in. They're all standing up. But I do, because Juan said he would tell, that George would tell Sarah, we need to eat something, babe. And then he was so thin, and the way he was like cowering on the floor. Can you guys see them sitting down to like a proper meal together? I'm just imagine now, and maybe I went too far, like he would have to eat at her feet or something. Like it just, the way he was cowering and the way she was demeaning and belittling to him, and he was just taking it. It was obviously not the first time. I feel like that had been their relationship beyond that. Why do I keep forgetting what it's called? The honeymoon, not the honeymoon, the love bombing phase. Oh my God, yeah. Sarah ain't smiling this morning. Let's see what Zadie Kranick is saying. Oh, they're all sitting
The
down.
instructions during that really short break. Record reflect all hands have been raised. Thank you very much. Mr. J, you may proceed, sir.
Permission to publish from States 21, which was previously marked as P for identification.
You may proceed.
I have it at 1.25. If it's too fast, let me know. I'm going to be quiet, though. Put a 2 in there if it's too fast.
Again,
in
this
the
is a
chat.
DVD exhibit with 2 folders in the main directory. One entry is in a folder called Attachments. Another is a PDF labeled Extraction. For the record, it is 108 pages, and the entire document will go back to the jury, and there will be a laptop provided to them to utilize this exhibit. For purposes of publication, I'm going to go by page number and date unless something requires more specificity. And for to and from, I'm going to just use the name of the contact if one exists or the phone number if one doesn't. On page 1, creation time for notes, 7:49, asking Jorge or George not to be despicable to me, making more drink after he guzzled his and I shared mine.
Punishment.
2, date March 8th, 2018. You are now in a relationship with Jorge or George on Facebook. Metadata entry 100014, etc. for Jorge Torres to Sarah Boone, owner. Page 3.
She should have volunteered to read it,
First,
and Michael. She should have said,
2019.
I'll read these.
From 407-716-8684 to Melissa. And he can still live here, correct? Or until I decide to finally get him out if he doesn't clean up his act after tomorrow.
Melissa is the property manager, Melissa Sexton. Yes, just me. Brian was very much abused. He laughed at it, I think because he was uncomfortable, but she very much abused him.
On page 9, May 30th, 2019, from a contact labeled as Mom, Jorge or George, to 407-716-8684, which I will just
I'm sorry
refer
for
to
your
as
loss,
owner,
Karen.
in future references. Where is my clippers in the gray box? From owner to Mom, Jorge, all capitals, dumpster, separate message, like you, separate message, so is your 2 shirts, separate message, no more Rick and Morty, a response from contact Mom, Jorge, to owner, okay. From owner to Mom, Jorge, Lucas cried when he saw the adventure fund was gone, thank you, no wonder you're out, fuck off. From owner, he's the one that broke it because you took it. From owner, wanted to go on an adventure. On to page 10. From owner, be proud, feel good. You made my, quote unquote, our son cry. Cheese stick, Lucas, your kids, get the fuck out of my life and my sons. No one, spinster, good, for nothing, dumpster diver, that's what you are, and the rest of you. Later on this same page, owner to Mom, Jorge, get all of you, mean, selfish, fuck all you. Your firstborn is a joke.
That's his
On to page
oldest
11,
daughter that we
same
just
date
saw
of
as
May
his
30th,
firstborn.
2019, from owner to Mom, Jorge, get the fuck out of my life. Lucas 2, bad influence. From Jorge to owner, I am, as you can see, go drink your life away. From owner to Mom, Jorge, your kids are too. Yuck. Shucks, I only have 1. Beaters, your 3 together. Yuck. Going on to page 12, from owner to Mom, Jorge, still dated 5/30/2019. Gross.
I'm sorry. You got to be a special kind of fucked up to talk about somebody's kids. Like, the kids don't have, even the Real Housewives know that. Leave the kids out of it.
And all the time, gross. Mom, Jorge to owner, I love that guy. I love that guy. You're the one who kicked me out. Owner to Jorge, Mom, finally, get your shot together and check me out in 2 to 3 months. Hope you're there. Unless I find someone better. Shit, together. From Mom, Jorge to owner, are you serious? Are you serious? Owner to Mom, Jorge, that's what happens? No. Mom, Jorge to owner, I'm helping out Dad right now. Call you in a few. Owner to Mom, Jorge, can you help me put out, fuck off? Jorge, Mom to owner, how? No problem. From 267 to.
Okay, it seems like George is using his mom's phone, so some of it is from George and some of it is from his mom. Am I picking that up right, or are you guys thinking it's all the mom?
216-5170 to owner. Damn, you can only talk when you're drunk and talking shit. Owner to the previously mentioned 267 number. Stop calling, texting my phone. He's not here anymore. And it's damn. 267 number to owner. NP, you didn't have to be a bitch about it. Owner to 267. Going on to page 13. Still May 30th, 2019. Yo, I like you all. He's a dick and the sheriff just left. Sorry I couldn't text back. I'll always respect you all. You know that. He's not here anymore. And yes, I am a bitch. So are you. 267 to owner. Look, I'm not here to be taking shots at you. I never called you a bitch. I said you were acting like one. I'm not going to be here going back and forth on some childish shit. Have a good night. Owner to the 267 number. Friends forever, thank you. Would love to chat sometime. Call his parents, I guess. Further down on page 13, now on to May 31st, 2019, from owner to mom, Jorge. Tell Jorge to call me. I want my things he took. I have his birth certificate and propane certificate until then if he wants those back. And I have your quote unquote art box. Mom Jorge to owner, stop being petty. I did not take anything that wasn't mine, I swear. Owner to mom Jorge, you're a liar. I never can believe you from all the other lies. You stop being petty and take shit like you always do. Another one bites the dust. Or
Well, if that ain't the pot calling the kettle black, nobody can believe a word that comes out of her mouth. Oh my God. Real Housewives of New Jersey right here. Okay, hey. Oh, okay, good. Okay, let's let it play. I'm gonna be quiet.
Jorge, hope you're miserable like you've made everyone else. Mom Jorge to owner, I'm not lying. Owner to mom Jorge, Lucas said he won't miss you either. When I get mine back, you'll get yours. Mom Jorge to owner, I didn't take it. I'm coming over in a few to get my stuff, and I'm coming with Jean and Melissa. Going on to page 14. Owner to mom Jorge, go for it. Bring mine W. Mom Jorge to owner, I don't have anything of yours. That's why I'm coming with them so they can vary that. Owner to mom Jorge, I don't care. They're not going to babysit you because you're an asshole and got kicked out after being taken off the lease. Mom Jorge to owner, they seen what I had in my hands. Owner to mom Jorge, still don't care or believe you. I'm going to get Lucas anyway, so don't waste their time or mine. Mom Jorge to owner.
Just 2 comments. If you're ever in a situation and you need to go get your stuff, you can have the police go with you or the sheriff. They can escort you, make sure you're safe, make sure there's no new allegations, no new confrontation. So please, if you really need your stuff, have the police go with you. Also, she took his, I can't think of it. It was some certificate, propane. So that impacts his job. Just like if he has to have that in order to operate the propane at work. I don't know what date these are, 5/31/2019. So he would have still had his job. So she's every which way but loose impacting him emotionally, financially, taking away his support system.
Owner, exactly. Owner,
taking away his
Jorge,
home.
You were a visitor and a terrible resident. Boyfriend too. Just go away unless you bring my stuff. Mom Jorge to owner, I don't have your shit, Sarah. I need my birth certificate. Owner to mom Jorge, I don't give a shit either. I worked for that birth certificate, voter's registration, and your ID card. Just because your name is on them doesn't make them yours. Even paid for them. I needed you to be a man and take care of me, not beat me, call me names, and make me feel like I'm not a person. Not giving back until I have mine. Mom Jorge to owner, whatever, Sarah. Owner to Mom Jorge. Next step is restraining order. Know that. You can come over here 100 times. Doesn't mean I have to open the door. Good one, Jorge. Go away. Mom Jorge to owner, whatever. Owner to Mom Jorge. It's been a great day without you. Will be from now on. Mom Jorge to owner. You need to do. Owner to Mom Jorge. Enjoy living with your parents at 41 with no girlfriend and lonely. It was the inevitable, just like it has been before. Owner to Jorge, Mom, did you take Lucas's sunglasses? Mom Jorge to owner, OMFG, no, I did not.
Right. Why would he take his sunglasses?
Turning to June 2nd, page 15, 1:10:57 a.m. from owner to Mom Jorge. Jorge, question mark, call me. If Jorge is with you, can you have him call me, please? Text to Mo. (1:18, 16 seconds on June 2nd. Owner to Mom Jorge. I beat you to the punch. Want to do the dartboard with me? Come. Owner to Mo.
Pumpkin porter.
I know you won't answer, Mo. Tell him to come finish the dartboard with me, please. Owner to Mo. I miss him. Owner to Mom Jorge. Ask Jorge to call me, please, when he gets a minute. June 2nd, 7:43:40 a.m. Can you have Jorge call me, please, when he...
So that was May of 2019. He was killed in February of 2020. And they were on again, off again. It got really tumultuous at the end. There was a lot of stuff going on. He ended up getting arrested for violating the restraining order. She went back and had the restraining order modified, instead of it being no contact to no hostile contact. And then in January of 2020, she signed a new lease, and George signed the lease with her, even though in 2019 she had him removed from the lease. Like I can see why he was confused. He was probably like, this is an example of how she loves me. And then, she's doing those other things.
He's with you.
When she's
7:45
mad.
a.m. Owner to Mo. Going on to page 16, June 2nd, 2019, 10:50 a.m., 55 seconds. Owner to Mo. Hello. Can you please have Jorge call me? Willing to give back. Don't know if he's there or at parents. Really want to see him. Owner to Mom Jorge at 10:52, 16 a.m. Not pursuing after 12 o'clock. Ever again. 12:19 p.m., 23 seconds. Owner to Mom Jorge. Please call. Come over. I'll come get you. Come over, please. I need a super hug. Hugs? Please. Need. You. 6:23 p.m. Owner to Anna. He doesn't live here anymore. Call parents or Mo, in response to an incoming phone call that was made at 6:10 p.m., 54 seconds from Anna to owner. Entries 9803, 9804 in the PDF timeline, June 2nd, 2019. Image 0092.heic. Capture time 6:33:01 p.m. Image 0093 HEIC captured 6:33:26 p.m. Publishing from attachments. Image _0092 metadata showing 6/2/2019, 6:33 p.m.
She taunted him by texting him an image of his birth certificate that Brian paid for. Shout out to Hay.
And image or IMG_0093, metadata, date taken 6/2/2019, 6:33 p.m.
Yikes, Annie. Was there money involved? I think I'm with you. So she ripped it up and then sent him a picture of that? Like, come on.
6:34 p.m., 51 seconds, June 2nd, 2019. Outgoing from owner to Mom Jorge. All up to you now, big boy. And for the record, those images were sent to Mom Jorge at 6:34 p.m., 33 seconds. Look what you made me do. Or maybe your mom will for you. Response from Mom Jorge to owner. Wow, that's really childish. Owner to Mom Jorge, but effective. Mom Jorge to owner. Yeah, I see what you are doing. Did Lucas leave? Owner to Mom Jorge. I'm watching shadows. Be gone for good. Minus birth certificate. Mom Jorge to owner. Okay, cool. Enjoy. Owner to Mom Jorge. Am. Nice. You're not. And nice was from Mom Jorge to owner. Going on to page 17. This is still June 2nd, 2019. Mom Jorge to owner. Yes, I am. You are not, though. Owner to Mom Jorge. To who? Your mom? Brothers? Not me. Mom Jorge to owner. To everyone. Owner to Mom Jorge, but me. Mom Jorge to owner. I love you. Owner to Mom Jorge. I'm going out at 8. Get dressed. I've given you since noon. Peace out, Boy Scout. Mom Jorge to owner. I'm coming over with a handle. I was helping Pop all day cut grass. Owner to Mom Jorge. Yay, you. Getting in the shower, then out.
At the risk of being redundant, the handle is the handle of vodka. The big thing of vodka. That's what she said they called it, the handle. So he's offering to come over to get effed up with her.
Bye-bye. Mom Jorge to owner.
Excuse me, can we approach the bench?
Yes.
So crazy. And then she baits him. Why did you even need to send the photo of the birth certificate in one piece and then cut up? Like, she wanted a reaction out of him. He kind of gray rocked her at first. Well, I thought he was. And then he went into, he's coming with the handle, explaining his day. He had to help Pops with the grass. Like, you don't owe her.
I'm already showered and dressed. Mom Jorge to owner. Hello? Text from Anna to owner.
Margaret
You're
is
rude as
not
hell,
going to
but
delete
okay.
this.
Owner to Anna. Your dad is a POS, but okay. At least you know and will stop calling. Owner to Anna. Futile. Anna to owner. CTFU, as you are a piece of shit, but that's God's business, not mine. Have a good day, Coke whore. Since you like to switch it up, I'll do the same. Don't text me back either, fake ass.
Coke whore. Did Sarah use Coke? Did we know that? I didn't know.
Page 20 of 108, June 9th, 2019, from owner to Philip. He's off the lease. The process has begun. Page 22, June 11th, 2019. Metadata only shows to Mom Jorge. You tell your son he's not welcome here, taken off the lease and bound, worthless. Don't show his ugly, fucked up face around here again. Police will be called. Ask him if it was worth it and ride my bike he has. Stay Hispanic, that's what you all are. And he can watch all the porn he wants from the phone Mom gave him.
His race was always a factor for Sarah.
Page 26, June 14th, 2019, 11:38:56 p.m. To Mom Jorge.
I'll go
Wow.
back. Hang on,
Congrats,
Tony.
blackouts and whoring. Certificate. Mom Jorge to owner. I'm coming over with a handle. I was helping Pop all day cut grass. Stop calling. Owner to Anna. Don't show his ugly, fucked up face around here again. Police will be called. Ask him if it was worth it and ride my bike he has. Stay Hispanic, that's what you all are. And he can watch all the porn he wants.
So she said, stay Hispanic. Can you see it there at the top? Let me go back a little bit. Which I don't think we have a choice. I'm pretty sure I was born black and I'm gonna die black, but okay.
Since you like to switch it up, I'll do the same. Don't text me back either, fake app. Look what you made me do.
Oh God, sorry guys. She said stay Hispanic. I don't want to lose momentum here. Stop touching the fast forward.
Page 26, June 14th, 2019, 11:38:56 p.m. To Mom Jorge. Wow, congrats, blackouts and whoring. We wanted to see him. Hot house, 7 people. Mission to work on my bike. Repeat. Candy Crush. Fuck himself. Shit job. Repeat. Same page, June 15th, 2019, 7:37 p.m., 48 seconds. To Melissa, just an FYI, if my place gets effed up, I'm letting you know. He's in jail. Thanks for the prompts. I'm at my ex's house. Please don't let this reflect on me as a tenant. You said to call cops. I did. He's gone. We're both proud now. I consider you my friend. Melissa, why was he in your apartment?
Manipulating the property manager. Predators find their prey and go after them with a vengeance.
Page 38, notes, creation time, June 26, 2019, 5:56:57 a.m. 6:14, X videos, 10:03 a.m. Sarah Banks, 5:03 Bank, 6:13, Metro activation 6:12. Skipping down, X videos, 6:2, 6:13 p.m. X videos 6:1. X videos 5:31, 9:56 a. Who's Christine? Friend FB. Going to meet up? Question. Calling her beautiful? Question. Said she thought you were avoiding her when down here. Said no, I was not beautiful. FB-nonchalant Quay. Thanks for adding me. You are exquisite. Facebook messaging Camille 613 942. Facebook or FB Pamela Erickson sending
Camille
pictures
is
of yourself,
ex-wife, the
telling her
mom
good
of the
morning
kids.
7:14 12:13 a.m. FB-Crystal going to woo her, sweep her off her feet, going to change her mind. Luck is my middle name. Sent her pics, kiss emojis. Called her beautiful after returning to the convo. Said you had to pick up your brother. Sent pics of beer. Sent her struts, could have been me. Sent her songs, but not me. Messaged bunny kiss emojis, convo. Sent puppy kiss emoji. Would love to take her out and see a movie. Told her about what we do in the shadows. Would love to watch Creed 2 with her. Want to snuggle with her and eat popcorn. Sent heart-hugging animal emoji. Want to play a board game with her. Asked to FaceTime call her. Called her amazing. Messaging at 7:30 a, 6:14, 6:15, 2 days. FB-Crystal liking all her posts. Quote, losing someone who doesn't respect or appreciate you is actually a gain, not a loss. Can't compare me to the next girl because there is no competition. I'm one of a kind and that's real. Continuing on to page 39, same note. I found everything on your phone, all your messenger texts, telling Christine you want to meet up with her when she's here, calling her beautiful, thanking nonchalant Quay for adding you, and calling her exquisite, telling Pamela Erickson good morning and sending pictures at 12:38 a.m., messaging Camille, then the whole 2-day convo with Crystal, how dare you, and send pictures wearing my wedding ring. You're a cheating, lying scumbag. I will never trust you. Why don't you put your mugshot up, or I will, since I have your phone, and log in and tell everyone why you were in jail for the 3rd time. Let them know you beat your wife and she put you there because she couldn't take it anymore. I want nothing to do with you ever again. I've become a different person since you've been gone, with less stress, anxiety, and worry. I feel safe, comfortable, happier with you not here or seeing you at all. I can say through I do have heartbreak after going through your phone. Thank you for always proving me right. I knew when you told me your mom gave you one that you'd be back to your slimy ways. You will never change. I hope it was all worth it, all of it, including losing my debit card for the 3rd time to buy beer and cigarettes, which put you back where you belong. I know for a fact you were not worth any of it. I just can't believe after everything I've done for you, including all I did to get you out of jail, and you do this to me. This is cheating. Goes on to page 40, goes on to page 41, and ends with never truly yours.
Super Kelly, these are her text messages back and forth. And for anybody, if someone is texting you more than 5
Page
sentences at a
42,
time, block
June
them
26th, 2019,
with this
8:06 p.m.,
negativity.
16 seconds. Outgoing from owner to Mo. Just wanted to let you know to tell Jorge I found all his messages, kissy face heart emojis with Crystal and other bitches on FB, along with all his porn after he swore to me he wasn't doing any of that anymore. I'm not doing anything more for him, and he will try and keep him in jail as long as I can. Cheating snake weasel. Ask him all about it or have your parents the next time they talk to him. I'm not anymore. So hurtful after all I've done for him. He can rot in there for all I care. Going on to page 43, to Mo from owner, and I will be there for the hearing next week and his arraignment on both charges. Peace out, fucks, aka Torres.
So she's calling the whole family names. Fucks. I can't believe she said she was there to help him out. Biatch, you're the reason he was there on trumped up charges.
Same page 43, from owner to Mo, 6/26/2019, 9:59:14 p.m.
Oddly, I agree, Jennifer.
Begins, hi, I was thinking if you could get out, I'd really love it if you'd take me to a movie, or we could snuggle like we do and watch Creed 2, get some popcorn and pretzels, maybe talk about what kind of other movies we like, or find a fun board game to play together. I know your favorite is Avalon. What do you think? I was also thinking the other day about how much I miss you sending me pictures of yourself throughout the day, sending me songs you wanted to hear or thought I'd like. But what I really miss are the kissy love emojis you would send, just because I really miss those, especially the ones with hearts. They'd always make me smile. I knew you were thinking about me. You do Crystal, though. Even asked her to FaceTime. What would you do if you found me having this convo with Ben or John or anyone other than you? I'd be beaten to a bloody pulp. And don't do any of these things anymore, but yet you wear your wedding ring and mine around your neck and tell me how much you love me. But you're telling this woman who looks like TPT you want to snuggle with, take out to a movie, play board games.
What's TPT, you guys?
Sending music, cutesy, kissy love emojis to like you used to me. Telling her you want to woo her, sweep her off her feet. How do you think that makes me feel? Why don't you say that to me?
Let's think about that, Sarah.
Going on.
Oh, I missed Hillary Clinton.
The rest
Who
of
are
page
Ben and
43,
John? Now I got to go back to her visitors list.
Including on page 44, dirty cheat, enjoy your porn and jerking yourself off secretly so your parents don't see you and your ugly new girlfriends. I can't wait to finally be with a real man, Ben, who will and has taken care of me. Can't wait to see what he's like in bed. I already know he kisses. Hope it was all worth it. I'm free. As you told Crystal in your messenger text, you're single with a little cutesy dancing dinosaur. Wow, now you really are. You're despicable. Next text is XOXO from Mo to owner.
I'm guessing George was using Mo's phone. Please don't be hugging and kissing Sarah, Mo. Mo is the one who attacked him, right? Because of on Sarah's word.
Page 50, 6/28/2019, 10:55:47 p.m. from owner to Mo. Just know I can do so much more damage than all of you put together. Know that. Going on to page 51. Try me.
Then all of them put together, and the siblings are 10 deep. Wow. Oh, same. Me too, SD.
Page 72, July 20th, 2019, 11:34 p.m. From Janice to owner. No metadata, but from Janice. Sorry it's so late. I just read your text. He seemed fine when I saw him at your apartment this morning. He answered the door right away, but was quite bummed out that he overslept. But I was okay and told him, no problem, just get ready and come to work in about half an hour. Then I texted your phone and asked if he would rather work the afternoon shift and get some sleep, but he never answered, so I have no idea where he is or what he's doing. What happened last night, he had a black eye. He said it was new because I asked him and I told him to put makeup on it. He said he had that taken care of. Did you two get in it again? He acted like when I told him he had a black guy, at first he didn't know what I was talking about. I guess he kind of blacked out. You can call me back if you want.
I'm guessing
11:30 p.m. 38
that was
seconds.
his manager.
From owner to mom, Jorge. Janice just called me looking for Jorge, and she's pissed. Congrats.
Which she sounded very sympathetic, so Sarah's putting a 20 on it as usual. Oh my God, Zoe, I hope Ben is okay. Well, she's in jail since then, so.
Page 82, 8/21, August 21st, 2019. From Jorge to owner. I love you, my friend, my love, my queen, my everything.
Oh. Thank you. Yeah, definitely worse. I think only because
I'm going to publish to the jury.
Johnny Depp was protected with his like guards and whatnot.
Yes.
I think if he hadn't have had all those people, she would have murdered him too. Oh my God. She was a stalker mixed with an abuser. So I think I skipped over it, but I didn't want to go back. It looked like one of the texts the daughter was saying that she was a whore and sleeping around. And I think I saw giving a BJ for booze, but I don't remember. Well, I'm not 100% sure. Let me say it like that. She's better than his family. That's the whole thing.
So for about the last, 35 minutes, Assistant State Attorney Will J. has been going through phone data, text messages, notes that were extracted from Sarah Boone's cell phone. Interesting to see those conversations. One of the last...
I'm trying to mute him. Okay, I didn't want him in my ear while I was talking to you guys. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have imagined that she was this bad just because I don't want to imagine that kind of existence for any human being, right? Like, it's depraved. Her whole relationship with him is depraved heart. So I wanted to start with this. Yeah, Jennifer, I believe it is coming quickly. It's easier to go along. The trauma ends quicker, in my opinion. I wonder if it emboldens the traumatizer, though. Do you know? You're different than the hair braiders in jail. They made poor choices, and you have no soul. Jennifer says, I know a lot of people are worried after Dr. Warner said she has BSS traits. I'm not worried. Sarah's words are too powerful to ignore. Yeah, but even if she has like the traits, it doesn't mean she was justified in that moment, right? I mean, personally, I think she bamboozled that doctor too, because I don't see any battered spouse syndrome trait, but it's the face that said, what's going on with the back of Sam's hair today, man? Okay, I'm going to fast forward. I think I'm actually going to go to the law and crime. Although sometimes their audio sucks. I feel like Court TV has better audio, but they are playing it on their website or whatever, and it's playing commercial, even though I have premium. I'm going to get to... Oh, you know what? Let's do it this way. Law and crime. I don't want to close the one window just in case I can't find it, but let's look. Okay, Sarah Boone trial. Because I see Mr. J standing up and they might be doing closing. Oh, wait, Court TV has a live up. Okay.
That is what occurred in this case. She committed an aggravated assault. After that, the defendant is saying the victim placed her in fear of imminent harm or death by trying to escape her aggravated assault, by sticking his fingers out, and by saying, as he's trying to escape, I'm going to end you.
But isn't that in the giving the aggressor definition? I mean, is that, but unless I missed something, that's not what we're talking about right now.
I agree, but it's I think it cohabitates together.
Okay.
And it's our position, we absolutely would charge her. And it's a legal technicality and part of this standard instruction that we can't because of the statute of limitations. We all know, all of us here together as attorneys know that those facts, if believed by the jury, support that she violated Chapter 776-041. She should not be able to get away with murder because of a statute of limitations technicality that was through no fault of the state's own. The purpose and spirit of Martinez is to make sure that we're not up there arguing, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, she had no right to defend herself from an imminent threat of harm by killing somebody. That's not what we're going to say. We understand that. What we are going to say is, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, she had no right to leave him in that suitcase out of fear and great bodily harm or imminent death because she committed an aggravated assault to put him in that predicament. That's the evidence in the case. That's the arguments that's going to be made. That's why we're making a special instruction request based on the unique facts and circumstances of this particular case.
Give me a second.
Yes.
I went to butter my bagel and then they stopped talking. Oh my God. So, and the interesting thing is her girlfriend that she has now is Latina, Christina Pena. I don't know. I know people get confused about that, but you can be in a relationship with someone who's
the language
race
in
you don't
the
like.
instruction in pertinent part says he or she was committing an act, insert the defendant's criminal activity that the defendant act, but the criminal activity cannot be the charged crimes for which the defendant is claiming self-defense or the defense of others. The charged crime, second-degree murder. So I'm struggling with understanding as the other crime is, because I'm not hearing any argument as to the
Battery,
applicability of aggravated assault.
false imprisonment.
Judge, because, and I didn't make any argument about aggravated assault applying because they can't get over the first hurdle. The first hurdle is it has to be charged. It's not charged. That's what the case law says. I mean, this is pretty clear to me unless I'm looking at it wrong when it says this is not to be given if there isn't an independent forcible felony charge.
Any other response, State?
Just that it defeats the purpose of the statute and is manifestly unjust when it is a legal technicality of no import. There is no interlocking verdict required. If we were able to charge aggravated assault, there's no requirement that they both be found guilty. They could go ahead and hear this instruction and find her not guilty of aggravated assault and still convict her of second-degree murder because of all the plethora of permutations we have in this instruction.
But in Martinez, the underlying charge was attempted murder and aggravated battery, both of which were charged, and we don't have that here.
But it's still going to be the one act, and those facts We are talking about separate, clearly distinct facts here that support there's an aggravated assault that separately gets committed first, and then in response to the victim responding to that aggravated assault, she leaves him in the
He was
chokehold
there
to die,
earlier.
because if she lets him out, it's her belief she's going to face death or great bodily harm because she committed a forcible felony against him. This is purely a legal technicality. The entire opinion on Martinez, until the very last paragraph, uses this language.
Thank you, Zoe. I appreciate you being here. Our community is great. It's very supportive. And we weed out the ones they know and they leave who are not supportive. They're finally giving Owens as. So if I'm understanding it correctly, they didn't charge her with the forcible battery and the other item, and so
They use
it
language
seems like
the underlying facts of the present case demonstrate why it would be illogical to conclude that section 776041 paren 1 applies where there is no independent forcible felony. It doesn't say where there is no independent forcible felony charged. It goes on and uses that same language all throughout the opinion, and then in the very last paragraph in the conclusion, it changes to, in conclusion, we hold that it is error for a trial court to read the forcible felony instruction to the jury where the defendant is not charged with an independent forcible felony. But there is an independent forcible felony in the facts. There is a statute that says that Ms. Boone should not be able to get the avoid the girth of this jury instruction. She violated, according to the facts that she gave us, she violated 776041 paren 1. She was committing an independent forcible felony and therefore should not be able to get away with this instruction not being given, because the technicality that the state can't charge a case or can't charge a count that is not required to be interlocked by verdict. Thank you.
right. So it's past the statute of limitations. That's what I was asking earlier. I think it's for the forcible felonies before, but I would argue the state didn't know about it in 2020, right? She just came forward with that in 2024. So how could they have charged her if the statute had already told? Now, is it from when you find out or not? Maria, is it Cisneros? Hopefully I'm not butchering that. So if a witness says something they should not say, there's a couple of avenues out, right? So one, if it's something they shouldn't say and it's if they say it to the state and it's the state's witness, they kind of have to eat it, or they can try to rehab what that witness said. If it's the state's witness and the defense doesn't like what they said, or they feel, they can say that, they can object to it as to relevance or whatever else and ask that it be stricken. But it's the analogy that they've been using of you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. The jury's already heard it, even though it's not going to be in the record. So it gets a little dicey. Hopefully you don't have any fast and loose witnesses up there, although I would say Sarah was probably fast and loose with whatever she was talking about. Okay, I'm going to move this, I think, forward.
She was, and I just think you strike.
This is critical. This piece of law is going to be critical.
Okay.
And unless you just want to go to 2.
Thanks.
On the other hand, if at the time defendant used deadly force she was not in a place where she had a right to be, then the defendant had an obligation to, or excuse me, then the defendant had a duty to retreat. Just excise one completely. I don't know what else to do.
But she has the right to be there.
Right. Under the Castle Doctrine and the case law.
Okay, then I think we go with the first paragraph and then we just deal with the initial aggressor at the end, which is kind of the exception to that. So
Okay, so then Sarah Boone had no duty to retreat before using deadly force.
Yes.
How come
Okay,
so?
is that acceptable to the defense?
Yes.
I think it puts us back in the position where we started at anyway.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
I just object for the record in case some assistant attorney general wants to potentially prosecute.
Objection noted. It looks like the next parts of the form instruction, if the defendant was in a dwelling, was excised, the give A, B, or C was excised. Are you on board with that state?
Yes.
Then the next paragraph, a person is not justified in using force to resist an arrest. Clearly, that's not applicable. I don't think that's at odds. However, if an officer used excessive, I also don't believe that's applicable based on the facts. We then proceed to the give in all cases language. Any objection to this language state? Sure. It's the bottom of page 2 of the defendant's 3.6F red line.
I'm just finding where it's
On the form instruction, it's the bottom of page 3 of 7. Given all cases, right after Jackson v. State.
yeah, just the agreed upon strike use of or threatened use. So just being deciding whether Sarah Boone was justified in use of deadly force, you must consider the circumstances at the time.
Any objection?
No objection to that, Judge.
We'll excise the threatened use, so it'll all read use of deadly force in that paragraph. All right. Now,
Battered spouse proposed instructions since both parties had that.
sure. Moving now to the presumption of fear, that's been struck out by both parties and agreed to. Moving to the exceptions of presumption of fear, that's been struck out by both parties and not necessary. That takes us to a person who unlawfully by force enters or attempts to enter, that's not applicable. Definition of dwelling is not applicable. Residence and vehicle are not applicable. That takes us now to the aggressor language.
No additional arguments as to why the facts show she was the initial aggressor, and thankfully for the state, there's no requirement under this provision that there be an independent enforceable found.
Okay. Looks like we have a disagreement between the parties as to the application of the aggressor instruction. It's struck out on the defense's side and not in the state side. What say you, Mr. Henderson?
She's got the balls of a burglar, SJ Sheila.
Give me 1 second.
Yes.
Sure. Yes, sir.
Zoe, yes, that was interesting that she had the job. It sounded like she had just started. It had something to do, like there was a baseball player that was the client. I'm thinking it was temporary work or contract work. And she definitely did not have it by February. Brian said she hadn't held a steady job in 2 years. So, but can you imagine her as a coworker? Seriously? You would run her out of town. Everybody in there would run her out of town. But she hadn't had consistent work for 2 years, which seems like it would be the entirety of her relationship with George if we're going by the October 2017 connection date. And then her lease started in the apartment that we see in all the video, body cam videos. It started in January of 2018. She had George taken off of the lease in 2019. They signed a new 2-year lease in January of 2020, and then you know what happened in February. Everybody would try to, you know how when somebody comes in, at least the jobs that I've had, and they are not a good fit, the group usually ushers
We
them
on
out the door.
776.041 sub 2.
Yes, sir.
Oh my
If I
God.
could have one more.
Yes, sir.
I want to send the jail gifts when she leaves. Seriously. Like, I know the names and everybody who had to put up with her craziness. Yeah, soulless. I want to go back and see this other feed. Looks like the jury's out until 1:30, so I'm guessing closing will be at 1:30. Unless, I don't know, you guys think they'll be done with these jury instructions by then? They've got an hour and a half. Watching the Karen Reed jury instructions underscored to me like how important these are when she didn't put in those other charges. An easy
Yes,
way for
my
them to find her
argument would
not
be
guilty.
That the only evidence, the evidence from Sarah Boone stated that she did not do anything forcefully wise until after Mr. Torres had made verbal threats and was coming out of the suitcase. So that's my objection is based on that. No other legal argument.
Any other argument? State.
Just judge, it's play wrestling and not releasing the chokehold when your buddy taps out.
And I mean, isn't there evidence as to what Ms. Boone had told the experts, which seems to be at odds with that issue? And it's really a factual issue and a determination for the jury to make that determination on what the real facts are.
I can't disagree with that.
Okay. Then with regard to the proposed language as the 776.041 sub 2 instruction, however, the use of deadly force is not justified if you find that Sarah Boone was attempting to committing, or escaping after the commission of aggravated assault. An aggravated assault is defined.
No.
No?
That's the friend one.
Am I on the wrong section?
Uh-oh.
I apologize. I am at the wrong section. Forgive me. So it is the.
So the lease, where was this question? Did she get a job to get her lease? She used as her money, as her income, the alimony that she was receiving from Brian, which was $1,000. Some people are saying she also had $200 in child support, which I don't understand. It's not in the documents that I've read, so I'm not going to carry that on. If that's something you want to run with, of course, I can't control your thoughts nor what I want to. But she definitely got $1,000 for alimony, and that is on her court paperwork for this case because she was declaring indigency. So I'm sure we've all filled out applications where it says, do you have other income you wish to disclose, like child support, alimony, settlement, blah, 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 right? So she put that on there. And at the time, George still had his job at Ace, even though he knew it was closing. What I don't think Sarah realized, though, was because of the criminal record he had accrued while they were together, that makes it harder to get a job. And obviously that was, well, obvious to me. You guys let me know if I'm taking too far of a leap. The woman, and I think it was Janice, was the manager. So she knew when she was like, did you guys get into it again? She knew there was a DV situation at their home, which that's a bad place to be in when your job knows. I've been there. I've come in. I was working at TJ Maxx. I think I was 20 years old, and I would come in with black eyes, and I would have like full makeup on. And so I don't know if they could see the black eyes, probably if they looked long enough, hard enough, but they would make the comment like, oh, you put on makeup today. And I would be like, oh yeah, it makes me feel better. I wasn't in a great mood type thing. Let me see what this man is saying. I will pull up the
on him that she did not undo is the force that we're talking about. It's just like in the cases that I cited in my special state's request for special jury instruction regarding withdrawing from physical contact. Batteries don't need to be skin to skin. You can commit a battery on somebody while driving your car and striking their car. A false imprisonment does not mean you have to choke somebody. You can falsely imprison somebody by barricading them into a room with a grocery cart. She unlawfully exerted that force and did not withdraw from using that force when her wrestling partner, so to speak, tapped out.
And does anyone think it's odd
I'm
that
gonna
two people
include
in
the
a
instruction for
domestic
now.
violence relationship wanted to see Creed? Isn't that like the
The next
boxing
paragraph
movie?
reads, if you find that Sarah Boone, who, because of prior threats or difficulties,
No objection.
all right, that'll be included. The next paragraph, if you find that at the time of the alleged aggravated assault and or criminal mischief,
Yeah, there just needs to be secondary murder, manslaughter, or culpable negligence, and we don't object. There were specific acts put in evidence.
any objection to changing the beginning of that sentence defense, if you find that at the time of the alleged murder in the second degree, manslaughter, culpable negligence, Sarah Boone knew that George Torres had committed an act.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And then we requested the strike through at the end, or threatened to use.
Agreed.
Give me a moment.
Yeah, where is Owens?
So that sentence would now, or that section would now read, if you find that at the time of the alleged second degree murder, manslaughter, or culpable negligence, Sarah Boone knew that George Torres Jr. had committed an act or acts of violence, you may consider that fact in determining whether Sarah Boone reasonably believed it was necessary for her to use deadly force. Acceptable?
Yes, sir. I just don't know that we use Junior after his name anywhere else.
Give me a moment. Yeah, Junior's not used anywhere else, so I'll excise that. Is that acceptable to you, Mr. Henderson?
Yes, sure.
All right, moving to the next line. If you consider that George Torres, removing Junior, had a reputation for being a violent and dangerous person. I don't know, did we hear evidence of reputation?
No.
There was no reputation evidence. Ms. Boone offered an opinion, but as everybody knows, reputation evidence has to come from a broad enough aspect of the community, whether it be a church or a neighborhood or perhaps even
I.e., not the person who put you in a suitcase
Defense?
and left you to die. We watched it at the top
No
of the
worries. Take
stream.
time.
I agree. Yeah.
I know generally,
Just because she had it doesn't mean she spent it wisely.
generally, it has to be something that is known based on a community standard. And that was the community. I know the only thing that I can relate to is the fact that individually, she experienced certain things that could build that reputation, but that's on her. I think there's evidence, though, from people, at least that they knew about it or were told about it. Most of that was stopped. But I could go to at least the one situation on a text message that was introduced earlier today that talked about him beating his former wife or ex-wife.
How is that reputation? That sounds like that's a specific instance based on that text message.
I agree.
Okay, so in agreeing, we're going to excise
Sit
the
down.
reputation section, correct? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, he did not have that
Court will
reputation.
excise that.
State agrees to the physical abilities that's mandatory.
And we saw the videos yesterday, man.
What about the one that precedes that? If you find that George Torres had a reputation, well, also that reputation would be removed as well, correct?
Oh my God.
Mr. Henderson? If you find that George Torres Jr. had a reputation for being a violent and dangerous person, you may consider this fact in determining whether he was the initial aggressor.
He's got 4 attorneys, Annie.
Okay, so that'll be excised as well. State has no objection to the physical ability section. I'll just remove the word junior after Torres. Any other questions with regard to the 3.6F instruction?
Your Honor, state doesn't object to what we
I hope she did not touch her son. Oh my God.
product. I'm impressed we did it so quickly. We just note our objection for the record to preserve a challenge to Martinez.
Understood. Do the parties,
Thanks,
well, let me ask this
Rod.
question. Mr. Henderson, anything else we need to address with regard to the 3.6F instruction?
No, sir, I'd just like to preserve the objections that I made during
Sounds like they were
Objections
watching
preserved.
Creep.
Do
and
the
not
parties
Creep.
wish the court to reread the 3.6F instruction that we just went through, just to make sure we're all on the same
Yes.
page?
Oh God.
Can we,
Poor Mr.
can we
J.
do it at a time where it
Is in final form? Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
I think she will be. I think she will
Sure,
be charged.
absolutely. All right. Where does that take us now? Does that take us to the 3.6G instruction? Okay, give me a moment.
Did I leave it up, the one with... Hang on, let me find it. Let's put it in.
I have state's proposed 3G instruction. I have the form instruction from the Supreme Court. And I have the defense's proposed.
Trial for George Torres. Prosecutors say that he was murdered by his longtime girlfriend, Sarah Boone, who had him trapped inside of a suitcase, beat him, and left him to die. The defense is saying that Sarah Boone was acting in self-defense. Now, George Torres' family is speaking out this morning, saying that he's being unfairly depicted as an abuser and that it was Sarah Boone who was the real aggressor. Now, since early in this case, we've seen evidence of Boone's problems with Torres' family.
To know what we're here, what we're investigating, and that they're going to think I killed him.
Why would they think that?
They always have said that. They've always have said that.
What have they
I
said?
told you it's because I'm the blue-eyed white dragon. That's what they call me. Because they don't want him with me. So he's basically just not really been around his family because he chooses me over them.
I want to welcome in our special guests now. We have George Torres' oldest daughter, Ana Victoria Torres, with us. We also have Dolores Ortiz with us, who is George Torres' first wife, and she also brought with her this morning her youngest daughter, Destiny. First of all, my heart goes out to all of you, and for all of us here at Court TV, we are so sorry.
Okay, that answers my other question. So Dolores is the first wife, and then the other woman, I can't think of it, starts with a C, must have been the second wife. I thought the second wife was the one who had the children. But anyway, sorry guys.
For your loss. Thank you for coming on the show. And I know that you really want to clear the air. And Ana Victoria, I know you've wanted to kind of be the family spokesperson. So I want to start with you, please. The way that your dad has been depicted as being an abuser in this trial, I know that it has upset you and you felt it's very unfair. Tell us why.
Story, and unfortunately, we are the voices now, and the way the trial has gone and the way things have taken place have nobody has ever contacted us to hear our story or ask us questions in regards to our father, his character, or the relationship between him and Sarah Boone. Me and my siblings actually spoke to our father that night, and we have a lot of experiences with Ms. Boone that do not speak to what the media is stating she is, a victim or a gentle individual. I'm sure she's loved over there at jail due to the fact that Sarah Boone is very, very calculated. She by no means is a kind and sweet, soft-spoken woman. She is very calculated, very devious, very conniving. My father was sheltered and berated. He was kept from us he was the real victim in this situation. Unfortunately, again, as stated, he is not here to tell his story, but we are here to give his side the best we can from the view that we were able to see things.
Sure. Anna Victoria, in one of the videos that we've all seen, Sarah Boone told police that George's family didn't like her and that they referred to her as the blue-eyed white dragon. Would you talk about where that nickname came from, and if it's true that you all didn't like her, and in particular, why?
I can definitely answer that. As far as the nickname is concerned, that was created all through Sarah's little brain. Other than that, she was definitely correct as far as us not liking her, and she should have stated that she didn't like us either, because that is very much correct as well. She, like I stated, is very evil, and what she is acting out there on the stand and within that courtroom is baffling to me, because that is not the real Sarah Boone at all. But yeah, she was correct. We don't like her. We didn't like her. That will never change. Unfortunately, I do feel bad for her and I wish her the best. But what I do wish is that my father receives his justice and she gets the time that she deserves. And a slap on the wrist is not it. Other than that, as far as a relationship with Sarah, one that was a good one, there wasn't one. We tried, we definitely tried, but she did not.
Anna Victoria, thank you for sharing all of that. I want to go to your mom now. Dolores, you were married to George for 14 years. I have three beautiful children with him. Two of them are here with us today, Destiny and Anna Victoria. We understand that at one point, Sarah Boone tried to fight you. Tell us about that.
Not per se fight me, because I want to say that we've had one engagement, which was for my children's birthday party that they attended later in the evening. So I really have never had like a confrontation. It was verbal over the phone. She had threatened me a couple times to come over and that she would dust her doormat for myself and my daughters. But it was basically verbal threats that she would give every time that George would call his children, any chance that he had, that he was able to call his children to speak, and I was present. It was a problem for George. She was very much jealous of me for what reason I'm not aware of, but we never had physical, altercations.
Well, and that's a very good thing. Tell us, Dolores, during your marriage to George, was he ever violent with you or any of your kids?
He was never violent with my children. We would have normal husband and wife family spats here and there, but never to the point where police were ever involved, DHS was ever involved. We were never that type of family. I can't relate to Sarah and the abuse that she so-called claims that she's received from George, because I never received abuse like that. I want to say the only thing that I can say about George is that he was a ladies' man.
Gotcha. Okay. And so just to be very clear here, did anything physical ever take place in terms of physical violence that he inflicted on you?
No.
Okay. And thank you for that. I know these are very personal questions, but we really want to.
Okay, guys, it's 11:25. Jury's back at 1:30. I want you all to get some water, get some food. Thanks for hanging out with me. I found it. The other wife, her name is Camille. For some reason, I was mixing them up. I'm just going to show really quickly before we all take a necessary comfort break of what she looks like. Can you guys see that? I lost you. Where'd you go? No, you can't see it because I'm not sharing. There we go. That then must be the second wife. This was Camille. He has a lot of pictures with her on there. So yeah, it's complicated. I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's complicated. It's nuanced. I definitely feel like there is a race factor in there. And Sarah is very much has a savior complex, right? She talks about all the great things she did for George. I don't think she thinks she did anything wrong, which is why she's dangerous. She's going to get someone else in a suitcase or something else. So she needs to be put away. I just, that's my opinion on it. Evil Boone calling his ex-wife a monster, like really. So this, I think, Cox, this is another like a twist where we're talking about if you invert the story, then it's the truth that Sarah's telling. Sarah probably was demeaning to him because he was sending money to the daughters, and she probably prohibited it. Because I'm thinking, and this just came to me, I don't know, this is real personal, but I have to relate it to my life. My grandmother, who I never met, was married to a man who had a drinking problem. Every Friday, she collected his paycheck, right? And so it seems like something is like that is going on with Sarah. When we learned she had his ID, he couldn't cash a check. His ID, what was it? His social security and his birth certificate. So she needed him in order to cash a check. So he probably had to hand over his paycheck. And then the wife was complaining of like, hey, your daughter, needs shoes or whatever. And then Sarah is berating him about it. That is now my interpretation of it, or something similar to that. Seeing those videos that we saw yesterday, that completely shifts the dynamic for me. Before I thought they were going at each other all the time. Now I feel like he was protecting himself. I'm not saying he should have hit her, but in the way the dynamic played out, I don't see him being the aggressor or initiating the contact because she was so vicious. Like, who would want to put up with that? And it didn't seem to be in his makeup. You know what I mean? Like, granted, we only saw some of it, just like we only saw, maybe there's another video out there that will change my mind. But what I saw yesterday, I can never unsee. So yes, to bring up the racial component to the relationship and reading the racist text she sent to his family were horrific. Yes. And it was like, there was different traces of it too, even in like her notes about the hair braiders, complaining about the hair braiders in the jail and telling them I'm not like the other inmates. Like she definitely, and I'm not saying all white people, because I know some people got upset about that. I'm speaking specifically about Sarah and her whiteness. And I touched on the other cases, the Adelsons and Shayna Gardner. But she's hoarding that over him. And as a person of color, sometimes we do have that imposter syndrome feeling of like, we don't deserve to be with this person, or we are not equal to that person, because it's something that happens over time for everybody. It's pervasive. Talking about it doesn't make someone racist, just like talking about sex doesn't make someone pregnant. It is what it is, right? And we all have different lived experiences. And so I don't think George saw it for what it was. I think there's just a part of being a person of color of there's sometimes you have that inferiority. Clearly he did not have high self-esteem, right? That I think goes without saying. But there is definitely a component to it, especially his size and his race, right? She used against him. She didn't do that to Brian because Brian was 6'2". Brian was the breadwinner. All of these things are going on. She could not have imagined that George was going to be a breadwinner and take care of her and Lucas and his 3 children, right? She knew what she was signing up for, but she used that to kind of dig into him. So let's take race out of it altogether. Like, I just want to give another example because I know it triggers people, but she has a bias. But let's take that out. Say you're dating someone when you're younger, right? Even though I had a child in my 20s, I did not want to date anybody else with kids because I knew there was baggage, there was potential baby mama drama, all this other stuff, right? And so as a mom, did I feel like I was lesser? Sometimes, right? Because then some people would be like, well, you have a lot of nerve. You have a kid. Why wouldn't you date someone else with a kid? And I'm like, I just don't want all that baggage together, right? So Sarah had a choice going into it, and she knew that baggage was there. She chose to use it as a tool to manipulate him instead of being the bigger person, although she's pretending she's the bigger person, just like she pretends she's a great person with the blind and the deaf dog. We saw in the video, she's telling George, tell them I have a dog that's blind. Tell them I have a dog that's deaf. It just proves how she leverages people, things, places to her advantage to put herself on a higher pedestal. Would she do that to other white women? Absolutely. She's going to do it to anyone. It's like, but I'm just saying that in that instance, her whiteness was part of her abuse. She used it to leverage it against him. Just like in some situations, she uses her femininity to manipulate situations where she's like trying to hug the male officer and calling them baby. Like, it's completely inappropriate, but she knows what she's doing. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. You guys, please get something to eat. I got to go pick up my dogs. They're going to be all super cute. They called a while ago. They went to the groomers. Sugar Bear's at school, so we'll come back at 1:30. I hope you eat. I hope you hydrate. If it's too much for you, it's all being recorded. You can watch it later. Get outside, get some fresh air. Be well. Be well. George is in a better place. He's free of her. Now we just need to get him justice, right? And it's in the hands, well, almost in the hands. 1:30, we hear the closing argument. I will talk to you guys later. I'm not sure if I'll be back, so I don't want to say I will, but if your notifications are on and I do go live, you will definitely see it. I appreciate you guys. I know there's a lot of other places you could have been, so I appreciate you coming here, watching with me, helping me not be alone, and yeah, we're close, guys. We're close. Love you all. Toodles.